Hello and welcome to another episode of Meet in the Middle Movies. I'm Elon.
I'm Mindy.
And we're a married couple who has very, very different interests. I am in the sports media profession and
I'm a music teacher.
So very different professions, but we meet in the middle when it comes to movies. Today we went and did one of our favorite things to do, and we do this probably about 6 times a year, so every other month. We do it every year for my birthday. I know that for sure.
Yeah.
But we did a double feature. We picked 2 movies and we go see them in the same day. Awesome way to spend the day at the movies. And the first movie we're going to talk about from our double feature is one that's getting a lot of attention right now because of its wins at the Golden Globes, and that is The Brutalist, starring Adrien Brody, Felicity Jones, Guy Pearce, directed by Brady Corbet. Brody and Corbet each won the Golden Globe, where Corbet won Best Director and Brody won Best Actor in a Motion Picture Drama. So a lot of excitement built around that one. And for good reason. The cast was great. I thought that Adrien Brody is very deserving of the credit he's getting. Felicity Jones was great. Guy Pearce might have been this performance that stood out the most to me, just because it's a classic Guy Pearce performance in my book. He's not in, I mean, maybe I sound ignorant here. I just need to look up more movies with him in it. I feel like generally he's not in a lot of movies, but he always does a phenomenal job. Yeah. And he usually, at least in the movies I've seen, he plays the antagonist, and he does a very, very good job here. Felicity Jones was only in about half the movie. Literally, you don't see her till after the intermission. Yes, this movie has an intermission.
Yeah.
More on that in a minute.
Yay, pee breaks.
More on that in a minute. But she has a scene that's very, very powerful. It reminded me of the same vibe, for those of you that saw Oppenheimer, of Emily Blunt's scene where she's basically telling the one, not a lawyer, but solicitor, how it is, basically. And it's that type of feel, but a lot less like in your face about it. It's a lot more kind of subtle and emotional. I thought that was great. One thing that I think this is an Oscar contender, and I understand why. If I were to rank the Oscar contenders, it would not be at the top of my list to win Best Picture. We'll have another video about that at another time. But I would say had this movie been 2 hours and 40 minutes, it would have been right up there as one of my top films of the year, because there's a lot of experience type shots, where there's a lot of shots where it's, for example, just on a point of view, and it looks like they strap the camera to the front of a car and you see a country road, and it holds that shot for a good 5 seconds.
Very gratuitous filming, which sometimes is so purposeful. And I've seen a lot of films where I really appreciated that. This one felt like some of the shots were really unnecessary, unnecessarily long.
But I do understand the purpose to it, because I thought it did a very, very good job kind of taking you on the emotional roller coaster that this character is feeling.
Yeah,
because
it allows the actor to do a lot of subtle things that you otherwise wouldn't get if you're just doing the regular, shot to shot. You're getting a ton of time on just their face, and you can pick up on a lot more that way. The
poster has probably one of the most memorable shots from the film on it, and it's the shot of the upside down Statue of Liberty. That is taken from their point of view, because it starts with Laszlo Toth, who's being played by Adrien Brody, kind of come out, and they're going into Ellis Island, and the music is just like building and building to this big like trumpet 2-note type. Is it stand? You're the music person here.
Just the intro is really beautiful. I think is what we're getting at.
And it gives you that feeling of elation and joy that the characters have. And then it really takes you on this emotional roller coaster through the highs and the lows. You feel it all with them, and they do a very, very, very effective job about that. Getting a little bit deeper here, I thought it was a great deconstruction of the American dream, because you're kind of sold this idea of you're going to come here and everything's going to be great, everything's going to be fine. And as this character finds out, it does eventually become fine, but there's a lot of this, including a big this, before it gets there. Yeah. It's not for everyone. Mostly, if you're a serious cinephile, I would say absolutely go check this movie out. It's 3 hours and 35 minutes long with a 15-minute intermission. I'll let you talk about that later.
Well, I'm not gonna like detail my bathroom experience.
No.
I just appreciated that there was a break.
It is also not a family film. It is very much a rated R film. There are pretty much everything you could expect. I don't think there's any big violence in it.
No,
but
yeah.
it is not for everyone.
Yeah.
If it's a movie that you're interested in, by all means, go check it out. I think it's worth your time to experience this. And I think that's what the director, Brady Corbet, was going for, was having that experience as an American immigrant in and this is based in 1947. And a big thing about this is both the protagonist, Adrian Brody, and his wife, played by Felicity Jones, they are Holocaust survivors. And I think there's that kind of underlying PTSD, that underlying anger and rage about that puts its fingerprints all over this film.
Yeah. And just being a displaced person, right? Ripped out of your home, essentially ripped out of your country because you have to leave.
Yeah.
And there's so much that goes along with that just sort of colors the tone of the film. And it's tough to watch, but probably just really accurate to a lot of people's experience. So
go ahead. That's all.
Okay, so going into my points, I agree with most of that. I definitely think it could have been shorter. I don't know. It's so like we said, there were a lot of gratuitous, cinematic moments, right? And some of them had some purpose, so to speak, but I don't know exactly how much shorter. I don't know, 2 hours, 40 minutes would have been short enough for me, but we could have gotten that story effectively, in my opinion, much shorter. I think it had some problems with tone throughout, right? The second half of the film in particular did such a shift in just the overall feeling and figuring out, as you go along. I guess we try to make sense of things in our brains, don't we? We try to go, okay, what's the vibe of the film that I'm watching? And this one just kept kind of shifting and taking unexpected turns. But I think there is a purpose to that. I think in some ways that's a very positive thing, because some stories aren't intended to be a perfect, progression, and then there's the climax or the conflict, and then everything calms down and there's a super happy ending kind of thing. I think this is more like a window into the life of kind of story, right? So you're going to get a little section of years of their life that you just get this snapshot of,
It does do a good job putting a bow on this character's life and this character's impact. And
it's still a satisfying ending. It's just not throughout the movie. It's like, where are we going now? Oh, interesting. Yeah. Oh, and we're going this way now. Okay, I didn't, pretty unexpected tone along through. Actors were amazing. I can't point to any actor and say that they weren't as strong as any of the others. I'd be totally happy with awards attention for any one of those actors. That was so solid. The score is already kind of iconic, in my opinion. It's got this da-da-da-da, and it's just, it's beautiful. I did think the placement was a little weird sometimes. We'd get a really dark scene, and then we'd get this long shot of I don't want to give too much away, a train or something, and then have a ton of time just listening to the score, and I'm kind of like, but why? I'm like, why is that happening right now? So maybe it was just that I didn't tune in to what these artists and creators were going for this movie. But yeah, gorgeous music by Daniel Blumberg. I hope I'm saying that right, but that's something that'll be making it to my movie scores playlist for sure.
We'll find out on Thursday when the Oscar nominees come out, but if that thing is not nominated for Best Score,
I'd be kind of pissed.
It was
be like, come on.
It was that opening shot, and the first time you hear that score, in my mind, I immediately thought this is an iconic cinema moment. So
that was so good.
I think overall, to wrap up our thoughts on The Brutalist is, by the way, it's called The Brutalist because I read it is a French translation for raw concrete, so it has nothing to do with actually being brutal. It's a phrase in the industry of architecture, which Laszlo Toth, played by Adrian Brody, is an architect. We kind of got a little long-winded here, but I think it was justified.
And that might have been a double entendre, by the way, with the title. I don't know, though. I don't know for sure. Maybe. That's just my artsy-fartsy guess.
Overall, if you want to see it, see it. If you saw the trailer and you thought this looks like a movie I'd be interested, I would see it. If you're just hearing about it for the first time and you're not normally into the kind of slow burn, heavier,
artsier.
yeah, it may not be a film for you. And it's definitely a date movie. It's not a bring your kids to the cinema movie. So, and again, thumbs up, thumbs down the world. It's a thumbs up for me.
Middle thumb for me.
Middle thumb for
Mostly up.
mostly up. Okay. But that is our review on The Brutalist. And we will see you next time on Meet in the Middle Movies.
See you then.